Hello, great souls. In this Meditation Essentials video, I would like to address the topic of intuition. How do we develop, first of all, what is it? Secondly, how do we develop it? And as you might imagine, intuition and meditation are in fact connected. They are, you might say, joined at the hip or in a three-legged race, if you like that image. Intuition, Yogananda defined as the soul's power of knowing God or knowing truth. How many times in your life have you been faced with a decision to make, a situation that is not determined, you have to make a choice, you have to understand something that is not immediately clear and perhaps is quite urgent. There's some big decision, something coming, and you want to understand it better. You want that intuitive sense to carry forth, because intuition is the actual knowing. The rational mind, think of a situation, say, we're trying to decide whether we should accept a certain job. And it offers good opportunities, it perhaps offers very good pay, it's in a good location, it's a good company, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I read an interesting story recently in which the question was asked, what's the fastest that someone ever failed a job interview? And the fellow answering the question gave a very interesting answer, because 99 point whatever percent of the time that question would be answered, the person answering it would be the interviewer and would tell the story of the interviewee who came in and did whatever and flunked the the interview. In most cases that was so. In his case, he was the interviewee. He was going to interview for a job. And he walked in and met the interviewer, who was very rude to him. And he knew that person already from a different situation in life. And he just turned around and walked back out the door. And that was it. He didn't even bother, that he introduced himself, or he said whatever, and then he just turned around and walked away. And she failed the interview because he didn't want to work for her. And it was not because she was a woman, it was because of the way she was behaving. And it's interesting to look inside of ourselves and say, how do we actually know? Because if, going back to the question of a job, so supposing all of those factors, the salary, the company, the hours, the location, the whatever, all the other things, what the specific job entails, supposing all of those things line up really, really well, and it's like, wow, this is a fabulous opportunity. And yet there's something in your heart or in the back of your mind, there's a little discomfort there. That could be, especially if it comes calmly, in the quiet, not in the excitement or in reaction to, but it's just sort of there in the background. Chances are that is an intuitive understanding. Now that could also be the other way around. Supposing the situation is not particularly inspiring, or it doesn't offer the glowing possibilities that I was describing in the first case. The salary's not as good, the hours are off, or the location is challenging, or whatever it might be. And yet somehow in the quiet there's this deep calm. There's this deep sense of upliftment. Often that will mean that Divine Mother's signature is on that, even though there may be challenges. And so we have to learn to look for that quiet place inside And that comes from meditation. But it comes from a particular part of our meditation practice. And that part is the end of the meditation. If we look at meditation in terms of the practice that we do, it's helpful to begin a practice with some kind of physical relaxation to get the body prepared for deep meditation. Then and to dedicate the practice to the divine, to offer it up to the divine. And then we go into whatever it is that we're practicing. What we're practicing could be a mantra, could be a breathing exercise, could be a concentration exercise, could be some specific technique of meditation, whatever it may be, Kriya Yoga, etc. Comes the end of that practice, we don't want to fly out of the chair, and I've mentioned this before, because that last part of the meditation time is the time where the intuition develops. And at that time, we want to just absorb, assimilate, dive deeper and deeper into the peace that the meditation has brought us. It's a critical time, actually. We want to really enjoy what we've worked so hard to achieve. And if we just run away, then it's like we spent a long time cooking a meal, but forgot to eat it. Or perhaps we ate it, but we jumped out of the chair and ran away and, to go do something intense. It doesn't help the digestive process. So we want to actually digest the meditative meal and enjoy it. Enjoy the fullness, the blessing. Let the blessing fully accrue inside of ourselves. That's where we come to actually feel God's presence. In a sense, the intuitive faculty is the ability to feel God, to feel the stillness and the blessing of God's presence. And in life, that's what we're looking for. We're looking for that still place where we actually know. We don't just think we know, we actually know. And when we find that in the outward life, then there's no more debate. In the case of the jobs, all the aspects could line up, and the rational mind is going, yes, this checks all the boxes. Everything that I was looking for, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's all there in a list. But if the intuitive side isn't satisfied, chances are it's not going to work out very well. And similarly, even if some of the important boxes are not checked, but if that intuitive side is there, then we will sooner or later come to know the blessing that opportunity can give us. And chances are it does and will work out. So developing that intuitive side is very, very important. And I want to just finish by suggesting again, take the time, take a quarter to a third of your meditation time and just simply absorb and enjoy. Perhaps offer prayers to others, healing prayers and blessings, but just absorb that joy, that peace, that wonderful, wonderful calmness that comes from deep meditation. Or even if your meditation doesn't feel particularly profound, just absorb whatever it is that God is giving you in that moment. It could be a feeling of divine love. It could be a wise understanding. It could be seeing light or hearing a beautiful vibration. Just take however God comes to you in that moment, and that will increase and deepen the awareness, the understanding, the intuitive ability and faculty in us. It's very, very important. God bless you all.